You know him, huh? Al-Akbar yesterday. Before. Really nervous, probably. Yeah, I see it. No, honestly. صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. A second one. A third one for Al-Zahra with your loudest voices. My dear brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Inshallah, in a little bit, we're going to start the eulogy night. So if I can get all the brothers to go to the left side of the center there, and all of the sisters to come in through that door and sit on the right side of the center. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Minutes? 2 minutes?
reciting when?
Well, Berak is going to go first, and then her daughter, right? And then it's going to go to the people sending their requests. It's going to start with Zahra, Cassidy, Cassidy?
Looks like it.
Huh?
Looks like it.
Then Hadi, then Said Ali, and these two brothers. And then I have Carlos and Jad doing it. And then me. Okay. So we're good.
And Sheikh?
Sheikh is not doing it. I might call him up though. Just put him on the spot.
He's, I think, leaving soon.
I know.
Okay, yalla.
Okay. صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. My dear brothers and sisters, respected guests, Samahat al-Sheikh, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Good evening, everyone. May Allah multiply your rewards on the arrival of the month of sadness and grief, the month of tragedies, the month of Muharram, and the martyrdom of Imam al-Hussain alayhi salam. Imam al-Hussain alayhi salam is a terminal for purifying the heart and the soul from the darkness that plagues it. Imam al-Hussain alayhi salam is a terminal for increasing spirituality. Verily, Imam al-Hussain alayhi salam is the ark of salvation that seeks to save us from our own selves. Karbala is an inspiration, a truly educational institution. Through stories of heroism and valor, we become motivated to rebuild our spirituality and to build a better connection to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His holy representatives on earth. Tonight, let us talk about how Karbala inspires us. Through poetry recitations, inspirational talks, eulogy recitations, let us all share how Karbala inspires us. Now please help me welcome our dear guest from Ottawa, Sister Berak Hussain. But let's give a little bit of an intro of Berak. Berak Hussain is a registered psychotherapist practicing at the Health and Counseling Services at Carleton University Clinic in Ottawa, Canada. She has a BA in Psychology and a Master's in Educational Counseling from the University of Ottawa. She is also known as the Muslim counselor and is a passionate public speaker in Muslim mental health, social justice, Islamic and women issues, and poetry. She speaks on a variety of Islamic psychological issues, bridging the connection and misconceptions around Islam, mental health, and Islam and women. So everybody, please help me welcome Sister Berak Hussain with a loud salawat.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. أفلح من صلى على محمد وآل محمد. Honor in the face of corruption, sacrifice in the face of tyranny, dignity in the face of exploitation, justice in the face of persecution, freedom in the face of oppression, love in the face of hate. Values and concepts we all can relate to and understand at a human level. When faced with the choice of giving allegiance to a corrupt tyrant, what would you do? When faced with the knowledge that this allegiance would wipe all traces of what is good in this world, what should you do? When faced with the indignity of your freedoms being stripped away, what could you do? When faced with the stark reality that others can so easily be turned against you with the lures of worldly pleasures, what would you do? When faced with the odds of thousands standing against you, thirsting for your blood, what can you do? When faced with the understanding that the truth can only survive with the eternal ransom of your life, what do you do? When faced with the ultimate test of sacrificing all and whom that you hold dear in this world, what would you do? age-old questions that the mind cannot fathom to face or answer until one truly has to answer them. One man, 1400 years ago, not only faced these questions, but was forced to answer them so eloquently in the act of pure altruism. Who is this man, you ask? Allow me to tell you. He was the one whose story, as the English historian Edward Gibbon said, will awaken the sympathy of the coldest reader. He was the one who, inspired by Mahatma Gandhi to say, "I learned through him how to achieve victory while being oppressed." He was the one who sacrificed, inspired by Dr. Rajendra Prasad, the first president of India, to say that this sacrifice is not limited to one country or nation, but it is the hereditary state of the brotherhood of all mankind. Who is this man? He is the one who inspires the hearts of millions to walk from all corners of the earth to visit him. He is the one whose the call of "Is there anyone to help us?" transcends the sands of time and centuries to awaken our sleeping consciousness. He is the one like no other that teaches us the true meaning of what it is to love unconditionally. He is the grandson of Prophet Muhammad. He is the son of his daughter Fatima and the gate to the city of knowledge, Ali. He is the one whose blood is in the blood of heavenly royalty. He is Hussain, a name that brings immediate tears to the eyes of all believers of peace, justice, and dignity. A name that sheds the strongest, or sends the strongest of hearts, young and old, man or woman, to instant tears and pain. A name that renders the most coldest of hearts to a fire that keeps burning in our chests. A name that is understood in all languages as the language of kindness, generosity, justice, and love. And why do we wear the black? We wear the color black in mourning of honoring those who have passed on. For how can we not wear black for Hussein, his followers, and the children and women, were it not for the strong stance of these women, and one in particular, Zainab, the sister of Hussein? Islam and any stance of human rights as we know it today would have been wiped out. In the opulent courtyards of the palaces of Yazid, Zainab's voice and unwavering words shook the core of a sleeping nation and revived the message of a revolution that we see today from 1400 years ago. A woman did this. And how is it possible that this message can inspire over 22 million pilgrims to walk towards the sacred burial place of Hussein? How is it that we see the generosity of strangers offering their homes, their food, and their services for free to all those who come to visit Hussein? How is it that despite the dangers of terrorism and attacks, they march on, not caring, just wanting to go see Hussein? Pandemic never did that stop us from going either. This is because of love. There is no purer love than this walk towards this man. People of all faiths, creeds, and backgrounds march in the name of love towards Hussein, yearning for the spiritual purification of their hearts in union and solidarity with him. And this is why we walk in this procession, in the symbolic march of love, reviving our allegiance to what Hussein stood for, renewing and pledging for human rights, equality, and the right to live as free men. Renewing, pledging, reviving what he stood for. What did he stand for? He stood for honor in the face of corruption, sacrifice in the face of tyranny, dignity in the face of exploitation, justice in the face of persecution, freedom in the face of oppression, love in the face of hate, which is why we don the black on the nights of the new year, not in celebration, but in commemoration of His Holiness Progeny's ultimate sacrifice. No justice, no love could ever match the voice of this truth. Will it suffice? Don't give allegiance to the sons of pure disobedience, of tyranny on a throne, of hollow experience, showing us how to stand in the name of all humanity with his brother's flag bearer's hand, attempting to quench the thirst of the children's calamity. No, no, our tears will never stop its flow, for His Holiness prescribed upon us to flow our hearts for His uncle, the Lion of God. For then how can our tears not be sunnah to follow for His beloved grandson, the Lord of martyrs? And if you question our tears for Hussein, then we will question your love for Muhammad. Peace be upon you, Hussein, and say it with me as we renew our allegiance this night and all nights and every night. Labbayk ya Hussein. بارك الله بكم مأجورين إن شاء الله. صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. Bless you all for coming this evening. These were a few words that could never be enough for the love that we have for our beloved Imam. Inshallah, we can do justice day by day in our actions and not just words, right? Because it's actions that truly matter. I'd like to introduce Jazmina, who, before she comes up, was inspired by Imam Hussain and Sayyida Zainab and Fatima al-Zahra, salamullah alayhum. We were driving back from lectures from Muharram during COVID. I believe it was last year or the year before. I lost track of time. And as we were driving back, we were watching in Karbala the Azat Wairij, if you know what that is, and all what we see in Karbala after the morning of the 10th of Muharram. So we were watching everything as we were driving back. And she noticed the clouds and the sun, and suddenly she started writing poetry, al-Atmiya, and she created her own words and lahan, and we thought this was something we'd like to share with other people to inspire as well and show the love that we have for the Ahl al-Bayt. So without further ado, can we have a salawat for Jazmina?
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. The sun is gone, the light is rain. Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein. The sun is gone, the light is rain. Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein. The sun is gone, the light is rain. Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, say with me. The sun is gone, the light is rain. Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein. The sun is gone, the light is rain. Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein. The sun is gone, the light is rain. Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein. Oh Lady Fatima, your son has joined you. Oh Lady Fatima, your son has joined you. Oh Allah, please accept the sacrifice. Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein. The sun is gone, the light is rain. Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein. The sun is gone, the light is rain. Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein. The sun is gone, the light is rain. Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein. Oh Hussein, send my salams to Lady Fatima, your mother. Oh Allah, please accept the sacrifice. Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein. The sun is gone, the light is rain. Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein. The sun is gone, the light is rain. Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein. Oh Hussein, send my salams to Lady Fatima, your mother. Oh Allah, please accept the sacrifice. Ya Hussain, Ya Hussain, Ya Hussain, the sun is gone, the light is rain. Ya Hussain, Ya Hussain, the sun is gone, the light is rain. Ya Hussain, Ya Hussain, the sun is gone, the light is rain. Ya Hussain, Ya Hussain, the sun is gone, the light is rain. Ya Hussain, Ya Hussain. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
Awesome work, awesome job. صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. Writing poetry for the Ahlul Bayt alayhim as-salam is undoubtedly a very meritorious action, to the point that we have chapters in our ahadith books that emphasize and prioritize the importance of eulogizing the Ahlul Bayt alayhim as-salam. And of course, any tears or any words that is recited for the Ahlul Bayt alayhim as-salam has innumerable rewards. And to start with our next participant, please help me welcome Sister Zahra Cassidy with a loud salawat.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. My salams to Imam Hussain, my salams to the family of Imam Hussain, to the friends and companions of Imam Hussain. From the prison in Sham, Lady Sakina alayhi salam looks up through a small grate and sees some birds flying. She laments, "Oh birds, do you know who I am? I am Sakina bint Hussain. I am the granddaughter of Imam Ali and Lady Fatima, peace be upon them. Oh birds, do you know they killed my father Imam Hussain, grandson of our holy Prophet Muhammad? They killed him on the day of Ashura, the day when evil killed good, the day my thirsty Baba saved Islam. Oh birds, how thirsty my Baba was, my Baba who refused to bow down and pledge allegiance to Yazid. Oh birds, how I miss my Baba Hussain. Oh birds, do you know I always slept on the safest pillow in the world, the chest of my Baba Hussain? Oh birds, I have a hard time sleeping now, and when I do sleep, I see my Baba. He says you will come to me soon, Sakina. Oh birds, do you know that I am the niece of warriors? My uncle Muslim was killed in Kufa, and oh, my uncle Abbas. He went to fetch me water on the day of Ashura and never came back. Oh, how I miss him. If he could only come back, I would never ask for water again. Oh birds, do you know who my brothers and cousins are? I am the sister of Akbar, who looked and sounded like the holy prophet of Allah. Oh, how I miss hearing Akbar's azan. My cousins were Qasim, An, and Muhammad. All are no more. I am the older sister of my precious baby brother Askar. Oh birds, did you know they also killed my thirsty baby Askar? Oh Askar, how I wish I could hold you and swing you on your swing. How I miss your sweet smell. Oh birds, do you know who I am? I am a yatima, an orphan. I am a prisoner. I am slapped when I cry for my Baba Hussain. Oh birds, will I ever leave this prison? Oh birds, do you know that I try very hard not to cry? I do not want to make my mother Abab and my auntie Zainab sad. We are all prisoners now. My brother Imam Zain al-Abidin is in chains, oh birds. Oh birds, do you fly home? Oh birds, how I wish I could fly home to Medina. I would go to the grave of my grandfather, the holy prophet, and tell him what they did to us. How they took our hijabs, how they tied our hands and dragged us through Kufa and Sham, how they slapped us. Oh birds, I am Sakina bint Hussain, a yatima, a prisoner, and I'm afraid I'll never be able to go home. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad.
This is a very beautiful poem. It deserves another loud salawat. Now, since this program is done in coordination with Al Jawad Youth, with sister's permission, if I can recite some poems in honor of Imam al-Jawad alayhi salam. He is the proof of Allah upon the creation. Eons have passed and he remains immortal through the narrative of every generation. O Jawad, following you in itself equals to God's obedience that every human hopes to achieve their salvation. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. And for the next participant, please help me welcome Brother Hadi Abbas Ja'far with a loud salawat.
I'm reciting a poem of Bibi Sakina. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Under the burning sun, a little girl cries. She runs to her father under the red skies. The ground is burning and the fire is growing, but there is one place where the sand is glowing. The little orphan follows the shining light, alone and heartbroken in the depths of the night. She hears the voice and she follows the sound. There she sees a chest beaming on the ground. But the chest that is glowing does not have a head, for all that can be seen is the sand covered in red. She ran to the chest. She embraces it so tight, for she knows her father's chest, which she slept on every night. Salawat.
I think it deserves a louder salawat than that. I think a little bit louder. In honor of Qasim alayhi salam. And Qasim approached as a fearless warrior with no match to his mass. His enemies trembled with fear, sounding like the breaking of a glass, wondering, did Ali come back or is this Abbas? Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. And for our next participant, please help me welcome Sayyid Ali Musawi with a loud salawat.
Salawat. हैदर ने नमाजों में जो अल्लाह से मांगा, कहती थी खुदा दे मुझे अब्बास से बेटा, और जिसकी सारा अरब गाजी उजरार, अब्बास अलमदार, अब्बास अलमदार, जवाब जवाब, अब्बास अलमदार, अब्बास अलमदार, तुम बाज़ु शबीर हो, हैदर के पिसर हो, लश्कर के अलमदार, सकीना का जिगर हो, जीते तुम देख के बस से याद अबरार, अब्बास अलमदार, अब्बास अलमदार, पानी पे अलम तेरे सवा कैसे ने लगाया, मशरिक़ ज़िम दरिया को तुमने ने उठाया, तुम लश्कर शबीर की ओ है डर करार, अब्बास अलमदार, अब्बास अलमदार, रेहान ओ मंजर कैसे लखून, मेरे कलम से टप आर खून, कहते तो शबीर पाए मेरा, अब्बास इब्ने शेर खुदा, अब्बास इब्ने शेर खुदा, अब्बास इब्ने शेर खुदा. सलवात.
You know, earlier in the lecture, His Eminence, the Sheikh, mentioned that when it comes to salawat, it's easy on the tongue, but heavy on the reward scale. So let us send a loud salawat. beautiful lecture, beautiful poem, Sayyid. Thank you for that. And for the next participants, we have brothers Ali Akbar and Abdullah Aziz. So let us welcome them with a loud salawat.
Salawat. If you gave me mountains of gold and placed it beside my paper, I would push it aside with my pen. Would I give up writing? Never. I will never give up writing. I shall write in the hereafter. But when I see someone in despair, I tell him of Hussein's brother. I tell him he'll give you your needs and make an oath like no other. If Abbas sends back your wish, I'll close my pen forever. Go towards his blessed door, knock on it as a beggar. If Abbas sends back your wish, I'll close my pen forever. If you have a problem, hardship or a wish, ask he who in helping those girls would flourish. Let the soother of their thirst soothe your anguish. Let the soother of their thirst soothe your anguish. Trust my ink and trust its words. To your plead his eyes wonder. If Abbas sends back your wish, I'll close my pen forever. Go towards his blessed door, knock on it as a beggar. If Abbas sends back your wish, I'll close my pen forever. The door Abbas for wishes is well known. At his door wishes like roses have been thrown. A granted wish from every rose that has grown. A granted wish from every rose that has grown. Send him a rose, it returns as a bundle of flowers. If Abbas sends back your wish, I'll close my pen forever. Go towards his blessed door, knock on it as a beggar. If Abbas sends back your wish, I'll close my pen forever. Tell him, Abbas, I ask, by those children's thirst, by the soldiers who argued who would fight first, by the child whose blood from his small neck burst, by the child whose blood from his small neck burst, by Qasim your brothers, your nephew Al-Yakbar. If Abbas sends back your wish, I'll close my pen forever. Salawat.
Yeah, now let us welcome Brother Abdullah, Ali Akbar, Aziz with a loud salawat.
Salawat. If your eyes have ever shed tears, whenever to you reappears the image of Ashura, the image of heads upon spears, the little girls drowned in their fears, and the morning of Zahra. And whenever Muharram nears, in every mosque a name appears, alongside every lover. When you mourn, it is she who hears To mourning she gave all her ears. This is Abbas's mother. This is Abbas's mother. Remember and never forget the mother who made her sunset is the reason that we're here. Long after Ashura sunsets, alone at Baqi she would sit, telling all what happened there. She's the mother of this pulpit. She would recite with her eyes wet, and hearts in two she would tear. Without mourning none would let, and no chest by hands would be hit. For Hussain none would despair. For Hussain none would despair. All is from her. These reciters, these words you hear, all from this queen. In tyrant's eyes a thorn, from her servants are born. Ummul Baneen, the first to cry and mourn, from her servants are born. Ummul Baneen, remember her. She's the mother of Ashura, Ummul Baneen, the first to cry and mourn, from her servants are born. Ummul Baneen. What hatred and what oppression, her dome by rubble is hidden. No minarets and no dome, by her no commemoration. No servants, no tents are open. No mourning, no flags are held. It's because they fear her lessons. 1,000 years yet she glistens. Her power is untold. I don't think with grief she's stricken. She'll give her grave like her children. So yearns Hussein's grave, the world. So yearns Hussein's grave, the world. 4 sons I gave, give me no grave. Karbala crave, visit Hussain. My Hussain I adore, from her servants are born. Ummul Baneen, the first to cry and mourn, from her servants are born. Ummul Baneen. Salawat. Muhammad wa Ali.
Ahsantum, ahsantum. Another loud salawat for that. Just as a reminder, when we end off the program, there's going to be an open mic session. So whoever wants to come up and recite, just raise your hand, and then we'll call you up, inshallah. And now, please help me welcome the next contestant, or the next participant, Brother Cardo Khorshid.
The warriors of Karbala, unmatched in greatness since their births, the prince of the world and the leader of the 7 skies and the 7 earths, Their name are the cure, the everlasting solution, like Hussain who inspired every revolution. The adornment of worshippers, the man with the most prostrations. Find me a man that resembles a sajjad out of all of God's creations. The adornment of worshippers, the man with the most prostrations. The embodiment of virtue, serving Hussain is what made Abbas elated. A ferocious warrior, his enemies trembled with fear, thinking Ali was reincarnated. The Prophet's twin, the legendary tale of Al-Akbar, exclaiming, by God, I will make Karbala another Khaybar. Our heroes, the likes of which we haven't seen before, defying physics, the entire world stopped in its tracks for. We pray and await for the awaited one to continue their mission. O son of Taha, when will you avenge the ones who saved this religion? The Sha'ir, Abdul Zahra, Salu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Ahsant Cardo. You know, in Iraqi we would say a'ad, but can't say it here. Another salawat. And now please help me welcome our dear brother Sajjad al-Sheikh Radhi with a loud salawat.
Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. I have two poems, so I'll make it short and quick, inshallah. From the customs of the Arabs and their followed tradition, the mother gives birth and the father's name and ambition. For Haydar, the matter is uniquely different. No man in history attained this achievement. The Kaaba is not your mother, and God forbid for someone to call Allah as your father. But indeed, none other, the Kaaba bore you into existence. It was the Lord Almighty who gave you His name and excellence. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. So this will be the second one, inshallah. Loyalty and bravery, what does it mean to you? Close your eyes and imagine this impeccable view. A courageous warrior, labeled a fighting lion by his pious mother, yet out of admiration was seen bowing before his master. Ali II, truly he lived by that name. Even he considered death to be a child's game. Legend has it that it is impossible to slay and kill. The man is like no other by the name of Abu al-Fadl. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Ahsan Sajjad, Ahsan. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Now I have a couple poems to share with you guys. This is in reference and in honor of Sayyidah Fatima al-Zahra alayha salam. Heaven's gate lay inferior to the mother's feet. Ascending with the angels, with the righteous believers they meet. All exists within a world where entrance fee is mother's content. Without her approval, no amount of praying will get you close to its scent. Forgive me, O mothers, for your worth is diminished. Your superiority over the parents has concluded and finished. As verily, motherhood lost its once illuminated meaning when Az-Zahra lay lifeless, unable to attend to her children's weeping. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. This next poem, inshallah, is Imam Ali Amir al-Mu'mineen salamullahi alayhi addressing Fatima al-Zahra alayha salam. The world reigns under the care of his just eyes, yet not a comrade in sight as he sits and cries. My beloved, looking at your hidden tomb has left me no hope. When all of life's problems I face, through you is how I cope. My beloved, how shall I ever move to address adversity? When you were my biggest supporter in times of the most brutal calamity. My beloved, how can I sit here and bid farewell to you when I cannot even find power to lay my eyes off of you? My beloved, your life has prematurely ended. Yet how can I live when my bosom has departed? My entire world, my everlasting reason to smile. Without you, I have no one to support me in this trial. My beloved, it is of known tradition and it is of known custom and tradition for the wife to attend to her husband's position. O Fatima, why are my calls not being responded? As I sit in solitude while I'm being disregarded. My yearning for you has overran its patience as I miss you ever so dearly. The pain of which is so intense, felt ever so severely. Indeed, this life without you is most definitely new, but I ask from my Lord not to live long after you. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Now this concludes the participants who signed up beforehand to come and recite. So if anybody, now this is open mic session. Anybody who wants to come up and recite, we have one, inshallah. What's the name? This is Mahira. Mahino. Please send a loud salawat for Mahino. Yeah.
Something from Dollarama tomorrow. Mahi, stop it. Everyone's looking. Why don't you start and she'll do it? No, I'm not starting. Sabke samne. Do you guys want her to recite a small part of a Noha in our language? You guys all want to hear it, right? She's so good. She memorized it for all you guys. Wow. Ready?
She wants to. If she doesn't feel comfortable, it's okay.
Okay. Okay. Do you want to try, Mahi?
Yeah, I wonder if everybody closes.
Do you want to turn around? Do you want to do it from the back? Okay.
Maybe she could hold the mic while sitting down. She doesn't need to do it in front of everybody.
Let's give her a loud salawat.
We have another one here. What's your name? Muhammad. Send a loud salawat for Muhammad.
Assalamu alaikum. God has put a seal on their hearts and their hearing, and a covering on their sight. 22 years from Saqifa, the deviation of Islam was enough to blind the state. The line of Islam, Imam Ali with all his power, could not change their fate. Imam Hussain was tied in the web of hypocrites from the Umayyad son. Treachery led to his death, as the paralyzed Ummah watched even when the arrows pierced his coffin. And the last personality of the cloak stood knowing his destiny. Note by chance he would leave Medina to knowingly sacrifice his family. Those who ponder the sacrifice of Yunus, Yaqub, and Isa, those who wonder how knowingly Ibrahim could sacrifice his child, have they not heard of Hussain? What man gives himself? But more, who gives his 18-year-old son and the image of the Prophet, Ali Akbar? But wait, there's more. His brother Abbas sacrificed his arms for his angel's wings, but we cannot refute the tears of bitter sting for the little baby Askar, whose dry tongue served as an arrow. Pierced by the heartless apparent Muslims bring grief and sorrow. And what bigger sacrifice for a father to knowingly leave this world, where he leaves his daughter Sakina to sit in the prisons of Sham to never leave? Who would give a sacrifice like this, unmatched from anything humanity has ever seen, given to this celestial person who has given a mission to bring? The blood of his family and his companions given to this world. If the Christians claim that their prophet was a sacrifice for sins, what would they make of this? The blood that was spilt that day became like a flowing river. It became the vein of justice, truth, iman that makes the enemies quiver. To the weak, short-sighted, the battle looked like a defeat. To the guided and even unknowing, this was an unparalleled feat. O Master of Martyrs, Labbaik ya Hussain.
Labbaik ya Hussain. Labbaik ya Hussain.
This was a weak salawat. Come on. You know, me and Uncle Zuhur have a plan that whoever is reciting loud salawat, we're writing their name so they can get pizza afterwards. So, another loud salawat. Ziyara goodies, another loud salawat. Can I have it though? Inshallah, we have another reciter, Sister Batul. Let us welcome her with a loud salawat.
Loud salawat. Walking to Karbala, from Najaf to Karbala. Walking to Karbala, from Najaf to Karbala. I'll give my life and soul just to Karbala. Come on, let's go, brother, to the land of Abba Abdullah. Hussain, go and pack your bag, let's reach the land of Karbala. Hussain, Hussain, we cannot be late, we must go and catch our flight. Soon we'll be on there, we don't love Karbala. Let's go, this is Arba'in. Let's go through the Arba'in. This is Arba'in. Let's go through the Arba'in. Off, Imam Hussain. Let's there from the Arba'in. Walking to Karbala, from Karbala, from Najaf to Karbala. I'll give my life and soul just to Karbala. Glad to visit our first live Imam Hussain. We ask him for our safety through the stuff of Islam. Hussain, we can have a journey, we will ask salam. This with yard in the whole of my Hussain. Walk, brother, walk. Get tired, you can walk. Walk, walk, brother, walk. Don't get tired, you can walk. The angels the record and got broken was the reward. Walking to Karbala, just to Karbala. Walking to Karbala, from Najaf to Karbala. I'll give my life and soul just to Karbala. Of the servant of Imam al-Hussain, Hussain, giving water to the walkers of he was slain. Hussain, oh, this is the most generous event. People like to stay with them so that we can lament. Hussain, thank you, oh Allah, for this blessing, oh Allah. Thank you, oh Allah, for this blessing, oh Allah. From my heart, souvenir, so close to our Amir. Walking to Karbala, from Najaf to Karbala. Walking to Karbala, from Najaf to Karbala. I'll give my life and soul just to Karbala. You know a 3-step we take gives us big blessing. Hussain, 1,000 beads we get sent, 1,000 women sin. Hussain, then in the land of heaven of our teacher, say labbaik ya Hussain. I am here for you, Hussain. Labbaik ya Hussain. I am here for you, Hussain. Freer, inshallah, I'll come walking to Hussain. Walking to Karbala, from Najaf to Karbala. Walking to Karbala, from Najaf to Karbala. I'll give my life and soul just to Karbala. Big loud salawat.
اللهم صل على محمد.
I think this one deserves the loudest salawat. Now we have another participant, Sayyid Ali al-Musawi again, so let us welcome him with a loud salawat.
Ya Gharib, Ya Shaheed, Ya Hussain, Hussain wa Hussain, Ya wa Hussain, Hussain wa Hussain wa Hussain, Hussain wa Hussain wa Hussain, Hussain wa Hussain wa Hussain. اے میرے آقا اے میرے مولا اے میرے مظلوم حسین دل جلتی رہتی پہ کربلا اے فاطمہ کی بہن اے میرے بیکاز اے میرے پیاسے اے میرے تنہا حسین حسین و حسین و حسین. You fought alone against thousands. This was your ultimate stand. You give your neck, you give your life, but you did not give your hand. Without a head, without a shot, your body laid on the sands. Hussain wa Hussain wa Hussain. Hum jama tamo ghame. Hussain Zahra's boss. Ashad dil عالمی غار کردن غواص ای خدا در غمش دل من خون است. حسین و حسین و حسین یا غریب یا شهید یا حسین یا حسین حسین و حسین و حسین حسین و Hussain wa Hussain. To the poet Shabit Tijani, salawat.
Ahsant, Sayyidina, ahsant. Now, do we have another participant? Is she ready to go again? No? We have one? Come up. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Wake up, for the morn of Qiyamah has arrived. It is the month of Muharram. The crescent of grief has appeared. The morning has arrived. Muharram is the month of tears. Muharram is the month of blood. Bodies are shredded, and the desert is a garden of blood. The crescent of grief has appeared. The month of mourning has arrived. It is the month when Hussein was martyred, when the eyes of Ali shed blood. The crescent of grief has appeared. The morning has arrived. Hussein sacrificed for the path of Islam. His head is on his spear. His body is on the ground. The crescent of grief has appeared. The month of mourning has arrived. The arms of Abbas were cut in this month. The three-edged arrow settled in the parched throat of Askar. The crescent of grief has appeared. The month of mourning has arrived. Zainab will hug the dust of the dungeon in this month. The innocent face of Sakina will be bruised in this month. The crescent of grief has appeared, and the month of mourning has arrived. Salawat.
Ahsantum. Another loud salawat for that. Another poem, inshallah, in honor of Sayyidah Fatima Zahra, salamullahi alayha. In the holiest scriptures, her name illuminates the devout readers. Since the creation of humanity, her light was witnessed by God's appointed leaders. Verily, the religion descended from the heavens wouldn't have come into fruition if the Immaculate Queen of Existence greatness was not given its submission. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. This, alhamdulillah, concludes our night of eulogy, of poetry. Thank you to everybody who participated. You know, this emphasizes a very key point that we learned during the month of Muharram, and that is to serve Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam, the servitude, the khidmah of Imam al-Hussein salamullahi alayhi. And the best person that we can learn servitude from is Sayyida al-Banin alayhi salam. Sayyida al-Banin is the true representation, the true personification, the true embodiment of servitude, to the point that when the eulogist came to Medina and he was narrating what happened to the story of Karbala and telling everybody of Medina that the tragedy of Karbala had occurred, she heard that Abu Fadl Abbas was gone. She heard that Abdullah was gone. She heard that Ja'far was gone. She heard that Uthman was gone. But she did not care about all of that. The only person that she genuinely cared about was Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam, to the point when she heard that Imam al-Hussein salamullahi alayhi was martyred. This is when she became to wail and weep and became to lament for Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam. So true servitude when it comes to Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam is when we dedicate our lives, when we dedicate our entire existence to make sure that this Husseini message lives on for eternity. And the best way to do that is through the recitation of poetry. So very, very proud to everybody who came up and recited. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the Imam look down upon us and accept this form of service in His name. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept this as genuine servitude for Imam al-Hussein salamullahi alayhi. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. And before you leave, please help yourself to some refreshments at the back there. Everybody gets a slice of pizza. Alhamdulillah. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. For sure. Sorry everyone. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Everyone who participated, please come to the front. We have a little bit of a surprise for you here. And inshallah we can take one group picture. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.